Wishing the year away, aren't I? Alright, let's do this. To the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player representing generic Green Wings. It is Cure. He is up against the red Zerg in the top right-hand side. From TSG, Triumphant Sun Gaming, this is Solar. Music going in the background. Here's a couple more drones on the way out. Overlord flying around here too. Hatchery will drop down. There is a proxied barracks and going to be proxy 2 racks from Cure to start us off. So, 2 proxy racks early on in the game. Interesting. Intrigued to see what exactly, how this exactly plays out, of course. I mean, hatch, gas, and soon to be a spawning pool from Solar. Getting this ready to go. Extractor is about halfway done at the moment. And that will be done in just a moment or two here. So, as the extractor finishes, Overlords are moving around quite nicely and truly trying to see what they can get up to. There's that Reaper on the way out here from Cure, and that spawning pool just about halfway done at the moment. The thing is, with only 2 racks, the gas is already coming up at home, so factories will be a thing. In fact, gas is coming up very early, so it's actually Reapers. Wow, that is actually crazy. You know when you kind of mention it's a Reaper, it doesn't really kind of click that that's weird? It's proxy 2 racks Reaper. Wow, that's actually really crazy. Oh wow, that's actually isn't what I was expecting at all, man. Sorry, I saw the 2 racks and I was just looking at them and I just didn't think to look up in the production tab because you kind of just assume, yeah, well, you know, it's 2 racks. But yeah, mining gas, Reapers it will be. So yeah, that's definitely very interesting, very different. Apologies, bad casting for me. I'm gonna blame it on jet lag, guys. You know, I traveled for like 21 hours yesterday. We'll blame it on that. Seems good to me. There's a couple of lings coming in, chasing that Reaper around. Reaper is going to be able to pick off one of those Zerglings. They have a couple of lings taking some hits as well. Got a little bit of back and forth so far. I mean, obviously more Reapers will be joining this. Link speed on the way up, more links being forced to be made. It's just not bad at all for Cure just yet as he builds a factory at home. Obviously still doesn't have an expansion though, right? So, well, it's not bad for him. It's also not like he's doing crazy amounts of damage here. Hops back up to the high ground, but the Lings kind of have this area covered now. So, I'm going to be seeing this Queen kind of trying to get back. Obviously, it's still a bit tough for Solo until Link speed kicks in. And he is just trying to come up to this top side, trying to keep his Lings alive as well. Now he wants to protect the Queen though. That's why, again, the Reapers really do well. And they get the Lings kind of fighting to get a good grenade off or so. Again, Queens have to be a little bit careful. The Reapers are getting kind of low. And the 2 of those Reapers are super low. Ling speed is not far off, but again, Lings just have to commit in already because, well, they don't want to lose the Queens, right? So it really wants to keep these alive. So, being forced for that. And now Ling speed's about to complete. Cure's actually heading home with the Reapers. The racks lift up as well. Wow. So obviously he knows when Link speed is expected to complete here, and so he's backing away for that timing. Command center on the high ground as well, so it can't be cancelled by a Link counterattack. Starport building at home too. Now I'm really excited to see exactly what this turns into as well. So these Lings coming back up on the natural expansion. The 2 barracks lifting in and flying back home. Again, it's kind of interesting, right? Because it feels like these Reapers aren't intending to do much while the Lings are on the map with speed. So then are they just going to wait for the Hellions and then make kind of one very powerful push of like Reaper Hellion? I mean, Viking as well. You know what? Kill the Overlord. Maybe he could even make like 2 or 3 Vikings and do something like a Hellbat Viking Reaper push. Like, it's got potential. It's got some possibility there, I feel. It's pretty intriguing. See these Lings continue to gather up in the natural. This Viking is about to pop and take down the Overlord. We'll see what this next Starport unit is going to be. A Liberator as well. I mean, that can also work for kind of pushing through if you want to make some Hellbats here. We see a Roach Roaring dropping down from Solar, so he is preparing himself for some potential further aggression here. His third hatchery obviously later than usual because he was dealing with those Reapers early on and wasn't able to drone as much, etc. Obviously made a lot of Zerglings early in the game, so this is a nice catch though. What a position that was from Solar. Good flanking. And there's a really good grenade to throw those Zerglings around. And so the Lings are still struggling to get proper surrounds here. And to truly clean this up. Wow. Cure. Wow. Wow. That was actually crazy. That was so sick for Cure. Man. The initial flank in from Solar was good. Cure just slipped away. and hitting that mineral line and then the grenades. Wow, Solo actually just lost so much in this. Well, that's actually so sick. Roach is on the way up, but I wonder if there's even possibility to really do much with those roaches aggressively. As Reaper's pressing up, Zergling's running down the right. Viking and the Liberator moving through the choppers. Zergling gonna get roasted by the Hellions here. Niveling's also getting picked away at as well for the moment. A lot of units on the way from Solo rather than drones, so it looks like he might just be thinking of something like a full-on counterattack. Liberator in the main base. Oh my god, nearly got the Queen. There's no Spore Crawler set up either, so Solo is really going to struggle to deal with the Liberators. I mean, Lings and Roaches are moving through the center of the map. There's one Ravager here is going to go down to Hellions and the Reapers. Solo just has like no economy. Oh my god, the Liberator repositions and kills the Queen. Solo's just going to have no economy behind this at all, and as the first Lings run in, the Hellions kill those off. I mean, these Roaches are going to have to run through a Liberator. That alone is painful. I mean, yeah, this is... yeah, this is really bad for Solo. This is absolutely over. Kua picks up game number 1. Kua has planned because it seems like a Zerg paradise. It's large. There's a lot of counterattack paths. The expansion pattern is easy to take. Let's see what Kua has planned, as he has not dropped a map yet today. 2-0 against Classic now. 1-0 up against Solar. In the bottom right-hand side, our blue Terran is Kua. Alright, Zerg here is Solar on the top left-hand side of Acropolis. I think in the first game, really just kind of thrown by what was going on. Obviously, things just got a bit weird, a bit quick. There's an Overlord coming down and looking to see what will go on early on. I mean, it's again, nice large map, so not really expecting too much early on this game, especially with no proxy barracks. Of course, that would be pretty much the one thing that you'd maybe... I mean, I don't even know how you proxy on this map, though. It's still super large. Maybe like some sort of proxy and then like bunker wall off almost. Yeah, it's just not something you oftentimes see, and obviously it's not the case here, so it's not really worth mentioning. So yeah, just expecting hopefully a bit of a longer game here. We have had... The first 2 games today were pretty long. The Classic versus Kua games, not long, but like 10 plus minutes. Tell you what, the ridiculous... what was I saying? There was a ridiculous group we had in this tournament already. It was... it was a really ridiculous group where it was like 80 minutes. In 80 minutes we did 4 best of 3s, and that included like the breaks in between series. Like, it was ridiculous. So after like basically at this time in the day, you know, right now we're in our 3rd best of 3, and it's been 2 zeros. It's been like 2-0, right? And we're still only just now starting at, you know, in our 3rd best of 3, right? We were already completed 4 series. We were starting a 5th best of 3. I was like, what? It was so fast. Fortunately, the last game of that day was pretty long. It was the Fantasy Hero group. I think that was Group B. Yeah, the Smallest Coliseum tournament, it it has those things, has those days where players, where things do take a while. Things games can be pretty quick. That's why I don't like this best of 3 kind of group style nowadays, because it just feels like it doesn't last long enough in an online setting where you don't have like a, you know, filler content to make some space between series like you do in, say, a GSL or so, for example, or like WCS. I don't know what it is, but Monster Coliseum just always seems to have such fast games in the groups. It's funky. Reaper turned away by the Queen. Drone will make up a hatchery. Here with the 2-1-1 opening. I was playing an opening you don't see all too much nowadays. I actually played against Solo in the GSL qualifiers, and I played a 2-1-1 opening into a Hellbat attack. It went absolutely flipping terribly. Like, it was bad. It was really bad. Let me just tell you that now, guys. Reaper in the main, just scouting around. Extractor and drone, the Spore Crawler were built to save some drones. So yeah, nice pick off on the Reaper. Not really much lost at all. I'm just going to be seeing still a lot of setup in this game. Waiting for the 2-1-1 to kick in. For those medevacs to finish and for those to head across the map with those Marines. That's going to be the first real starting point of this game to see how things will go. Zerglin takes the watchtower on the right side. So Overlord of Solar just hanging out on the bottom. More Marines just pouring on out. A couple more medevacs are going to be out in a moment as well. There they are. We have 14 Marines going to drop across the map. So, very expected so far. Looks like it'll be just that Carapace upgrade. There's a very standard upgrade for a Zerg in this scenario because, again, you take a lot more shots from Marines than you're going to deal to Marines with the Zerglings. So Carapace makes a lot of sense there. And it'll help you deal with the kind of continued Marine attacks. Is Kira going to unload just straight in the main base? There is an Overlord in position here, so nice position of that Overlord, otherwise Solar might have been in trouble. This isn't the typical kind of unload on the edge of the creep and kill off creep spread kind of opening. There's a dead Overlord though, right? And he's going to find another Overlord too, so Solar's going to be supply blocked. Maybe a dead Queen as well. Oh my god, now he's in the mineral line. That means the Zerglings just won't trade well. The Queens took so long to get back in the main because there's no creep team in between the natural and the main. Oh my god, Marines will stem once more back in the back of this mineral line. They're killing so many Zerglings. I mean, the medevacs are just going to sit here and heal because I think Kira realizes that these units are kind of doomed, but he's traded so well that he doesn't care. Gets another Overlord. Solar was supply blocked for so long here. As these Marines go running down to the low ground, they will just go for a few more drone kills. Look at all this lost mining time. 12 drones, Queens, Overlords, Zerglings. A massacre here by Kira in the early stages. 1.9k to 1.2k resources lost, and Kira loads up another drop. Now, yes, Kira did lose his full 2 medevacs and Marines, but obviously huge amounts of damage done, and that was absolutely one of the worthwhile times, I would say, for the Terran player to lose that 2-1-1 drop. Usually if you lose the 2-1-1 drop, you lose a lot of your map control, etc., which is true here, but you got so much damage out of this. The map control you lose for it, it's just worthwhile, the trade that Kira made. So, again, very rarely would I say losing the 2-1-1 drop is worth it, but that really was one of those situations. That was a shame. That was a drop on medevac that didn't really need to go down there. Kira making a slight mistake, as we are going to see now. These Marines back up to the top, and a couple of creep teamers getting picked up. Overlord going to go down as well, and a few more Zerglings running in over from the left. Marines will load up into that medevac, and again, backing away over to the right-hand side. Bane Nest on the natural expansion. The third command center morphed into an orbital here, in position already. And Kira's just been setting up nice and easily as a follow-up armory on the way down, so you'll be straight into his 2-2 upgrades as well. That's a little bit of lag. I wonder if that's on my end. It's a little bit funky. Ping. Yeah, my ping just skyrocketed there for a moment. And it's one of those things that the Korean server likes to do sometimes. Ping just skyrockets. Connection gets a bit funky, but it looks like it's dropping back down, so it looks like it's okay, guys. As we're going to be seeing again, these rest of these Marines kind of gathering up. A couple Hellions on that watchtower pulling away. Ooh, nice little shot there. Banes don't have speed just yet, and oh my god, the first few Banes are so nearly caught by Marines. That would have been disastrous. I mean, this is already going to be difficult to hold on to. This is the sort of push where I don't think Kira wins the game with this push, but he absolutely makes Solar's life more difficult, you know, in terms of following up, because he's spending so much money on Banelings already. He's going to trade off pretty well here, Q, I think, and that's just going to make, again, Solar's life in terms of continuing on from here very difficult to continue through. A few Marines on the left side picked off as well. And again, like, you look at the resources lost, and Q is just maintaining this 1,000, 1,500-ish resources lost difference. And he's just trying to keep forcing units and units and units out of Solar. Now Solar's trying to make Hydralisks, where you can only afford one single Hydra. So, I mean, it's just keeping the Hydras away for a bit longer as well. As you do see a little bit of bio. Running over to the left-hand side, going to see the drone gets picked off. Not a lot of units here, actually, for Kira. This might just be a lift and leave sort of scenario. He definitely has the medevacs just to lift and leave. I'm very surprised he's trying to stick around. And as we are going to be seeing the rest of this bio force from Kira gathering together again on the left-hand side. Two more Hellions morphing into Hellbats. Marines and Marauder will gather up. And Spain's Hydras setting up on the third base. A couple of creep teamers pushing down as well. A little bit of bio starts simmering forwards. Baneling's going to start morphing in. Lings will run through here. Go the Marines splitting backwards. More Banelings morphing in as well. And again, this army just continues to pull back that little bit further. Here just keeps on trading here. Keeps rallying units across the map. Good pull away down here. Escaping those couple of Banes. And obviously just, trying to run away and kind of fight the Banes off creep. So it's just a little bit harder for the Banes to roll into the bio army. The problem is, it's Acropolis, right? And if this was any other map, this push would be so much more powerful. But because it's Acropolis, the reinforcements take so long to get over here. It's one of the big reasons Soul is able to defend while still building up that work count. He's now at 77 drones. So he really has built that up quite wonderfully. The 2 Widow Mines don't really do too much here at all either. We're just going to be seeing... I mean, again, it's the creep that's actually going to be a pain for Soul there, because if it was still creeped up, the Banes maybe could have rolled forwards. There's a counterattack going on too, though. And these Lings getting cleaned up pretty quickly, however. So Kua deals with that pretty professionally. Interested to see what he does against these continued Hydras, because now the Hydra count's getting a bit high, you'd maybe expect to see Siege Tanks brought into play. Tell you what, the 2-2 upgrades are going to kick in as well, though, for Kua, and that's going to be really nice, because he's going to have 2-2 against 1-1 for a little while, or at least 1-2 for a while. Although the Hydra's unupgraded anyways, so I guess it's still going to help a little bit here, though, with the bio, as we see the reinforcements. I mean, these were slowed down massively because of the counterattack. So now seeing a bigger wave of reinforcements arriving. Maybe this is a bit scary for Solar here, actually, if a few these Banelings don't really connect or so. So again, just the Hydras that are really kind of a tougher force here. Got the Widowmine shots going off, Lings counter-attacking. Kua's kind of dealing with it pretty well once again. I mean, he kind of pulled back. I feel like he's been on the verge of kind of breaking Solar almost, because I feel like if those Banes go down, this Bioforce is just allowed to fight the Hydras. Those Hydras don't have attack upgrades, and then they just kind of melt to the Bio army. So, I kind of thought I was maybe on the verge of what we were seeing there. But now we see a lot more Banes morphing in 11, and it feels like Solar, because he wasn't kind of being forced to fight for a moment, Solar kind of stabilized just that little bit. Here, no free upgrades. Would be nice to get those started. Does start the attack upgrade at least. He is out of gas for the armor. But yeah, it would be nice just to get those those free upgrades, because that's going to be one of the big things that helps him out further on this game. Solar doesn't have much of a transition through to Hive or anything. Oh my god, Kua needs to split away from those Banelings. That just stands in them. Liberator's coming through. Stemming up this ramp. I mean, off of creep now. This is, again, much better fights for Kua. Fighting off of creep. His medevac's drained of energy. And his bio not even getting fully healed up before the medevac's out of energy. So that's kind of an issue too. 15 more Banelings morphing in. 20 more Zerglings on the natural. Two more medevacs, a few more Marines just rolling out here, and we are going to be seeing those Liberators continuing to siege up on the front of that third base. Zerglings pressing forwards. Oh, man, these Zerglings are going to go down before the Banes arrive. The Marines now splitting back. Maybe a little late for the Marines to split back. All the Widow Mines went down without killing anything. Bio on the left side as well, trying to help. This by most of the medevacs. Oh, the Banes are just getting massacred. They finally managed to reach the Marines. If Kua just kind of split away at any point, this would have been a massacre, but instead he stayed stacked, just thinking he could kill all the Banes. He had so much damage output, it very nearly worked. Kua holds on. Solar is still just massing up Lingbane Hydra, and that's the issue. No transition, right? There's no follow-up here. There's no Hive tech or anything kind of to, follow up with it all. And so I think Kua is in a very, very winnable position now for this game number 2. I mean, I think he has been all game long, but he's obviously been struggling to kind of really end it. Let's see those Marines coming through, able to pick off that Overlord. That's a nice shutdown. Units moving through to the top side, and again, just another few Banelings morphing in. This is wonderful. A hit on the fourth base. I mean, this is something we haven't seen from Kua at all, kind of multi-prong pressure and drop clear, right? It's all been about rallying in one direction. Now he's in a couple different places, and this is going to test Solar's multitasking. And it's just because it's kind of out of nowhere, right? All of a sudden, Solar does have to deal with it. Nice fire with the Banelings. Suddenly, Solar, didn't have units set up here and set up there to deal with this. He has to respond to this on the fly, but he does do that pretty easily. And he does actually deal with Kua's initial attack there very well, I have to say. +3 attack, +3 armor coming through. As you can see, Lings, Banes, and Hydras continue to set up in the center. I still think the same issue stands here for Solar. The fact he's stuck on Lair Tech, and I mean, +3 attack upgrades finished now as well for Artemis. The upgrades are a little bit better. Bane's come rolling on through here. The bio was caught a bit off guard, man. Q just kind of setting up in the center of the map when he could have probably backed away a little bit, and Solar's going to jump on that opportunity. Wow, Solar kind of breaking his way through this here. Those Widowmines still don't have drilling claws either, by the way, and because of that, they just get picked up. Oh my god, is Q just going to die? This fourth base is in a lot of trouble, and there just isn't the bio. Wow, I mean, in the end, Q would have obviously been much better off on a siege tank-based army. And yet he was still just trying to play with Widow Mines and Bio, and, you know, then he's taking fights out in the center where he's not pre-set up and so on, and he just, you know, loses big, and obviously it's that kind of combined factor that sends everything falling apart very quickly for Kira in that game number 2. So yeah, maybe just switching to tanks a bit earlier on. I mean, in the position he was in, 4 base against 5 base-ish, maybe he could have laid up the pressure or just dropped around while he built up more into kind of into that kind of setup as well. I don't know, like, again, this is why Terrans don't like playing Acropolis. Q got into a really good position, and he does spawn as our blue Terran in the top right of Turbo Cruise here. He got in a really good position, and he couldn't end it because he just tried to attack and attack and attack, and it didn't work a single time. Because it was such a large map, and I think in any other map he would have won the game earlier. The fact he didn't was still fun. He was still ahead, and then I think he just got a bit too caught up in his own lead and really let that slip away from him there. Q in the top right, anyways, does lose that map number 2 in the end. As we have to the bottom left, our red Zerg. This is going to be Solar. So yeah, I think just really came down to the end composition, and it was kind of weird because, like I say, I feel like Solar's stuck on lair tech, right? And I feel like Solar's stuck on lair tech against, you know, most of the time that's bad for him, but, and I kind of felt it was bad for him, but Kira also just didn't move his own tech anywhere either, right? He got like 1 Liberator into a fight, right? He got like, you know, he's still Widow Mines without drilling claws even. And it was just those kind of things. I think a few too many things just missing for Kira there. Really brought him to down to the end. Alright, so game number 3 of this. Let's see what Kira can do. So he's got to be a little bit frustrated with the lead he lost in that second game, but alas, here we are. This is the winner's match as well, guys. If you lose this, you are still in a decided match against either Classic or Nice. If you win this, though, you're already through to the round of 8 with $500 guaranteed for your pocket here. Couple of questions in the chat. Was Solar on 0-0? No, Solar was on 2-2 melee upgrades, so the Hydras didn't have missile attack upgrades. The thing is, though, that doesn't necessarily matter. As long as the Hydras stay alive, they're still dealing a lot of damage output, right? So I think as far as the Hydras care, yeah, you know, having upgrades on the Hydras is still nice, but I wouldn't say the upgrades were like super behind. There was still good upgrades for Kira as well, and that's what I mean. Like, he was in that position where he should be doing very well, and that's why Solar stuck on lair tech was meant to be in trouble, but again, little things kind of fell apart a little bit. So yeah, again, definitely frustrating one for Kira, as we are just going to be seeing this game a bit of a different opening. Hellions on the way up, so going back to a Hellion based set. Well, yeah, actually, I mean, I guess we saw Hellions in the first game. Obviously, in game number 2 it was that 2-on-1 opening, but even in the first game it wasn't like typical Hellions because it was 2-Rax Reaper proxy. The Hellions kind of just ended the game when they joined up with the Reapers, as that Reaper stuck around just a little bit too long, goes flying off the side of Turbo Cruise. Man, whoever lives down here on like the lower levels of this world or whatever must be real pissed off if all these Zerg units that keep dying off, or Terran units that keep falling down. Wake up every day and there's just like 20 Marines that have been blown up by Banelings and the corpses have just been flung down the side of a building. You're just like, not again. So you can see these few Hellions here from Kira coming around the left-hand side, and looking to poke forwards. We do have a couple of Marines able to get this Overlord. Queen's backing away once more. Queen's able to push that back too, and again, this Overlord just hanging out in the center. Here on Turbo Cruise, it's obviously this, inhibitor zones and slow things down a bit. I'm enjoying to see that. I mean, I don't see this map being played a lot, but in general, the videos for this series have been pretty interesting, so I'm intrigued to see this come out. Terrans have really good pushing power on this map. If they get to the middle here, it can be very hard for the Zerg to push through these inhibitor zones. You can set up tanks here, for example, and you can actually cover this area here while pushing into the third base, and that's extremely powerful. So that's something which Solo's going to have to be very cautious of and see how he has, try and find a resolution to that. It is siege tank production early on here from QS, so not Widow Mines super early in the game, although oftentimes you'll see some siege tanks into a Widow Mine follow-up. Queen's able to pick off one of these Hellions here on the side, so Hellion does get taken down. Liberator's back in the main and gets some damage onto the Queen. Will not get any kills here and actually just unsieging to back away. Getting itself alive for the moment makes a lot of sense, of course. This scan drops down, going to see a bunch of these creep tumors being picked off. It's nice too, slowing the Zerg down in the middle of the map already. Slow zones. Queen's already so slow, they're going to push through here. I guess just wants to replace the creep. Yeah, just really wants to set up this creep through the center of the map again. If you have the control here, you can make that position that the tower was just talking about much more difficult to get a hold of initially. Liberator comes back in, sneaks around the side. Solo's going to lose a drone. Nope, good pull away. Here is not paying attention to his Liberator. He's still controlling Hellions. He is going to pull it further into the main, but that's just going to get killed, taken down by a Spore Crawler. Few Marines hanging out in the main base there. Banelet Nest is about to finish up on the natural expansion too. 22 more Zerglings on the way out from Solar, and just going to see that Baneling speed getting started as well. 8 Banelings coming in. And again, the few Hellions from Q just set up in the center of the map. So Zerglings getting picked off. Marines and tanks over to the right-hand side and seeing where they can go. Lings around the left-hand side as well. And go all the way up to the top here and see what they can do. One's coming around, actually going to find themselves a nice little surround on these Hellions. Well, that third base is obviously unprotected with the push down the bottom, but it does mean that a lot of Lings are out of position to deal with this push, but there is Lings and Banes over here. And these Lings, they could just be a flanking force as well. As 10 SCVs go down, feels like you're already falling apart a little bit here now. So a lot of creep being cleaned out, but again, these tanks are not going to be great if these Lings run in from the back and jump on them. That Queen's joined up together. I mean, tanks on siege. They re-siege here, but they're still not completely sieged up. The Bane's actually taking a lot of damage. Can the Marines target down the last few Banelings? Doesn't matter, I don't think. Too many Zerglings anyways. Wow, this went real bad real quick for Kira again, didn't it? Suddenly the SCVs just get shut down over on this third base. And the next thing you know... Well, yeah, I mean, everything just went real wrong real quick there. Easiest way to say it. The Marines going to lift up into those medevacs back away over to the right, and... I'm just going to be seeing that armory dropping down as well. So armory starts up on the main. And these other 2 medevacs also flying around. He's going to press forwards. I'm just going to see a couple of quick teamers getting pulled out in the center. Ling's going to run into this inhibitor zone. I mean, it's a good little choke point until the Banes show up, right? So Marines can stick around for a little while. Just feels like Kyo's already kind of out of his depth almost. Solo's going up to 5 bases. The creep spread is not super amazing, but it's good enough to kind of keep the bases safe for the moment. And, Kyo's just on 3 bases of his own, building up a 4th, and Solo's already about to hit Hive Tech, right? He's just been defending with Ling Bane only, so completely bypasses Hydras or Mutas. Just straight a Hive, some very fast Ultras going to be on the way. I mean, he's going to have a 9-minute Ultras cavern here. And at that point... Kira's already just... I mean, is Kira in a position to deal with Ultras? I mean, no, not really. Definitely not right away here, at least. 7 more creep tumors pushing forwards in the center. Just still kind of breaking through that halfway point now. So, a lot of creep setup here. And Solo comes up. I mean, again, still is in no rush to do anything either, right? Viper's on the way. Adrenal Glands, Ultras Cavern. Solo has no reason to take a fight anytime soon. Because when he hits those Ultras, that's when he's going to be extremely powerful. And so he's going to look to take a fight in like 2 minutes or so. And basically it's just going to be just after that timing where the Terran hits 2-2. So Solo's going to have to hold off the 2-2 timing, then maybe get Ultras during that and push it back. That's going to be the play here. Now, of course, if Kira decides to hold back himself, that's when Solo tries to make use of those Ultras and Vipers and the Adrenal Glands as well to take him into a winning position. Plus 3 melee and Carapace start and the Spire as well, just as the Ultra's Cavern finishes, so actually we don't see Chitinous plating right away. And it is just missing a little bit of gas to be able to afford Ultras in general at the moment. There's Chitinous plating will start up, and still just Ling Bane for the moment. I mean, the Spire is nice to get going quickly here because it does allow him to move through and towards Broodlords. First Ultra starts. He really is just limited on gas, though. Could maybe do if these extractors coming up on the far left side. And he hasn't got an extractors on this 4th base either, so I guess that's just what he's missing. Lings go flooding in on the right-hand side. This command center morphing into a planetary fortress is, for a moment there, was in a little bit of trouble, but does survive. Meanwhile, Lings, oh my god, goes into the natural. Going into the main, no cure. Not lifting up depots anywhere, and suddenly the SCVs are going to start dropping like flies. 20 workers killed in just a few seconds, and Cure is just again falling apart. These are mistakes you can't afford to make, because now 25 workers down for just a few Lings. Well, Solo's very happy with this, of course, and a drop on the other side. Solo's already there, pouncing on it, dealing with it. Okay, lost a few Lings, that's all. The drones kept themselves alive, though, and that's extremely important. On this right-hand side, these Marines are pressing forward, getting a bunch more creep spread as well. I mean, that's nice as well, but again, it's creep that's in very far push forward positions anyway, so it's not the end of the world that you're losing that creep. You've still got a lot of creep in front of your bases, so you're still very safe as the first Ultra out, more on the way. Anabolic Synthesis on the way too, so giving those Ultras extra speed. I mean, this doesn't even a full wall off here now, so if these Lings want to just run in, they can. And that is what they will do, because, I mean, it kind of just makes sense, right? These things, some of them maybe could have jumped on this siege tank. He's going to go for the engineering base. There's actually no free upgrades here, so losing an engineering bay already is a little bit painful. God, it's a massacre up on the top side as well. Solo just, oh my god, Bailings on the planetary forest. Blowing up everything. Look at that massacre. SCV's getting blown up all over the shop, and, well, Solo just jumping on that right there. He is down a little bit in army supply, but he is doubling the worker count of his opponent, so over time here, Solo's just going to continue doing very well in this situation. And, well, these Lings on their own obviously don't do well, but this is now Marines against an Ultralisk. I mean, that obviously doesn't go well for Cure's side of things, and Solo continues to do very well. I mean, yeah, Solo's just killing it right now. This series, like, really went from one side, you know, one way to the complete opposite other direction. In that first game, Solo got stomped, and from his losing game 2, turns it around, and in game number 3, he's been in control throughout. You know, there's not been a moment where I think Solo's looked like the weaker player at all. That's pretty crazy. There's a couple of Lings nibbling their way through this refinery. What's up, Harston, by the way? Thank you so much for the 200 viewer host. Get some love in the chat for Harston. Thank you very much. 4th command center building up here as well. Marines on the right side. Getting rid of a Ling. There's a bunch of creep tumors in the middle. Also going to get picked off, so a lot of creep going down as we see Lings. Banes pressing through. A couple of Marines getting dropped, picked off right there. Corruptors flying forwards as well. Vikings going to come in, and you're not going to see those pushing the Corruptors back. See, also get shot down. This other Corruptor also going to get shot down. Ghost on the way up from Cure, but I mean, he's trying to play like a very late game scenario off of 3 bases essentially and 55 workers. It's just not really enough, and that's the problem. These Vikings are doing very well against these Corruptors, actually. Kiting very nicely, and just finding the Corruptors are just not right, you know, quite the right amount of numbers. So that's nice, it's something, but, you know, the few Ghosts coming up as well are nice. It's just, I don't see what Kyo does, because he needs to be able to take more fights, and he's not going to be able to take more fights without more economy, and he's trying to take a 4th base, but, I mean, the command center is going to fly over here. I'm not quite convinced this is going to work. I'm really not quite convinced this is going to work. 2 more Corruptors on the way up. Here we go with Lings. Going to start hitting those depots at the front. Ultras pressing through as well. Banes also coming in right now. And here we go. As the Ghosts pull away. I mean, these Ultras are just going to keep on pushing through everything. And again, the thing is these Banes continue to pick up kills also. It's just going to be another wave of Zerg in a minute or so from now, right? Kyo's down 100 supply. And, you know, Solo is already 175. 56 more Lings in production. Solo's still a little bit gas-starved, if nothing else, but I mean, just killed another 22 SCVs, so Kyo has even less economy all over again to play with, and it's extremely, extremely painful for him right now. He's going to be seeing a couple of Queens transfusing up those Corruptors. So Corruptors getting healed up a little bit now. And we are just going to be seeing those tanks also just setting themselves up. deal with the next wave of this, but the ghosts don't even have that much energy. Here we go. Bane's rolling up the ramp already. The units start to split away. The command center over here goes down. There's even Queen's coming forces to help against the Vikings, I guess, and so on. But, yeah, I mean, so much on the ground. The rest doesn't really matter. Kira's got to be kicking himself a little bit for how this series went. He was doing so well in that game.